General Valery Zaluzhny was the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's defense during the first phase of the full-scale Russian invasion. However, President Vladimir Zelenskiy transferred him abroad as Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom. Today, opinion polls show Zaluzhny as the most trusted political figure in Ukraine. 71% of Ukrainians polled trust Zaluzhny, followed by the head of military intelligence, Kyrylo Budanov, with a trust rating of over 50%. President Vladimir Zelenskiy comes third in this ranking, trusted by less than half of his countrymen. General Zaluzhny has a very good track record when it comes to the war in Ukraine. His service during the war is considered competent both at home and abroad. The second thing that may explain this trust is Donald Trump's support for Zaluzhny, expressed on several occasions.
And saying, don't worry.
The Trump administration values Zaluzhny, but Vladimir Zelensky has a different opinion. This is what he said almost a year and a half ago, on the day he removed the general from command of the army and sent him outside Ukraine's borders.
Відверто поговорили сьогодні про те, що потребує змін в армії.
I am openly saying that we need changes in the army, urgent changes. I have suggested to General Zaluzhny that he remain in the Ukrainian diplomatic corps, and I would be grateful if he agrees. But at a time of full-scale war, Zelenskyy's political games did not sit well with his countrymen.
Weeks passed and the speculation about the worsening relationship between the two only grew, with the broader understanding that the president saw the general as a political threat. But why would a country's civilian and military leaders be worried about politics during a full-scale war? Elections in Ukraine have been cancelled for as long as martial law continues, as per the constitution.
A struggle for influence and survival has begun in the upper echelon of the Ukrainian government. Vladimir Zelenskiy has decided to remove from his circle the military commander who was gaining prominence. He has become a victim of internal political games in Ukraine and has been sent as an ambassador to the United Kingdom. This could be called a golden cage, meaning that it is a fairly good position for such a man, but one that distances him from the course of events in Ukraine. We do not know whether Zaluzhny had any presidential ambitions, but after this move from Zelensky, it is very likely that he does. And he is already building his position as a diplomat. It would be difficult for Ukraine to fight the enemy without the help of the West. Yes, we stood up to Russia from the very beginning, but when NATO countries realized that we were facing a full-scale war, they supported us. Vladimir Zelenskyy's term of office theoretically expired over a year ago. Many Ukrainians wonder whether he still represents the majority of society, as trust polls give pause for thought. President Zelenskyy's term in office expired long ago. At the same time, new elections are not being organized because it is difficult to organize them for obvious reasons. The war is continuing and is dragging on, and there are no indications that it will end in the coming months. During wartime, according to the Ukrainian constitution, elections may not be held. In the first phase of the war, Zelensky was a symbolic figure, which means that his decision to remain in Kiev certainly had an impact on public morale. But as the war dragged on, mistakes began to emerge, political mistakes, in terms of appointments and corruption issues. The war is dragging on and the public is tired. It is also difficult to see any hope in the peace talks with Russia. The third round of negotiations will start tomorrow in Istanbul.